I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Tim McLaughlin. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I'm doing well. And I'm very appreciative that you got my last name right on the first try.
It just may be that I was actually listening.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, tell us, what part of the world are you in, Tim?
I am in Massachusetts in the northeastern United States.
Oh, sweet. So do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us meeting.
Well, I do a podcast called Exploring Comics. I like to describe it quickly as saying it's a podcast about webcomics, indie comics, and the people who love them.
Love it. So, how long have you been in the comic world?
Well, I've been reading comics for about as long as I've been reading anything, really. And I got into webcomics pretty early on, about 2001 or 2002. I tried my hand at making one in, I think, 2005, but it didn't go anywhere. Okay. And I finally made one in 2015. I started making my own webcomic. And then there were some people that I was communicating with in the webcomic world that were talking about making a podcast for webcomics. And when they didn't do it, I said, well, someone has to. And so I went ahead and did it myself. And that was just the first episode launched this past spring.
Wow. How exciting, right? Podcasting will change your life forever, right?
Yes, it has done that.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. So tell me, who did you learn the skills that are required to at least speak within the comic world? Well,
a lot of it was just from my family. Like, I come from a family of storytellers. We all, anytime we have get-togethers, we're sitting around, we're talking, and we're encouraging each other to talk, and we're just, digging into stuff. And, normally it's in story form, but we're big talkers. And so it was really easy for me to just fall into finding places to talk that people would enjoy. Podcasting itself, like that particular set of skills was a conglomerate of I've been mixing live audio for 20 something years. And so I had a little bit of technical knowledge I could bring in, and, a bunch of little things like that, where it was just, I had something similar in my back pocket and I just tried to put them together.
It's fascinating how it connects, right? Like, even with the art that you do, it's really like that, right? It's a combination of things that come together, right? Things that sometimes some people wouldn't connect anyway, right? I got the opportunity to check out some of your stuff, right? My favorite being the Space Needle. You do amazing work.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So why will you continue to repeat this skill of standing unique in the space?
I can't not. It's just one of those things where it's like, I've described the podcast a couple times as almost a love letter to the small press comics community. Like, it's just, there's this whole community of creators that are pouring themselves into into their projects with no promise of ever getting paid or ever even having anyone see it. But they just pour everything they have into it. And I know a little bit about that as someone who does it as well, but also just watching this happen and wanting to show some appreciation and give them some kind of platform to get noticed. It's something that needs to happen, and I greatly enjoy doing it. So I don't know, it's harder for me to stop than it is for me to continue.
Yeah, I love that. And I sometimes push myself into a space like that just so that I can keep on going. So I set big audacious goals, right? And then I tell the world, right?
Well, you never reach a big audacious goal if you don't set a big audacious goal.
Exactly, right? And then you tell the world.
Yep.
Not in a way that's like boastful, but for help. You're actually asking for help. So it's It's humbling.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that you are doing what others aren't doing by providing a platform for those that are doing that, setting big audacious goals, dreams, and having an opportunity to communicate that on your podcast is a grand opportunity. So keep doing what you're doing. Tim, please do tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years.
Probably just the audio editing. My life changes quite a lot, and so over the last 3 years, the only things that have been pretty constant is I've been training for ministry, and I've been doing AV work.
Wow.
Mostly at churches.
Yeah. Churches are a challenge to do AV work in, right?
They can be.
So how does it make you feel?
Everyone's volunteer.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's just, it's so deeply ingrained because I started learning how to do AV work when I was 9 years old. And so this is just like something that I've been doing my whole life. And it's really great to, finish, help bring these things to life, help make sure that people have access to what's happening.
Yeah. I suggest to someone out there, you're definitely one person that has been giving, right? More than you've been taking. Suggest to someone out there why they should do what you've done.
It's really just, there's all these things out there that people don't think about that make everything that you enjoy work. Like people talk about, loving music and listening to all this stuff and loving these bands or whatever, but they don't always think about like how much weight is on the person who's mixing the audio, the person who's recording that stuff, the person who's setting the lights, or the person who's just helping promote this stuff. Like the reason that people can connect with a lot of this medium is because there are a lot of other people that you don't notice that are doing a lot of work. And so if you enjoy a thing like that, I would encourage people to get involved in helping connect new people to it.
Totally agree. Well, amazing audience, you're hearing it live here from Tim McLaughlin. Tim, I'd like to now switch gears and invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Tim, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Probably, I was debating about this one earlier today, but probably an incident where I cut my face really bad on a fence and had to get plastic surgery on my jaw.
Wow. How old do you think you were?
I was 5 when that happened.
Wow. Why do you think this memory is so clear?
It's mildly traumatic. I mean, it was also kind of an amusing story, and stories really stick with me because I did this. I fell down this thing and I got caught on a fence and it dug into my face. And I get inside to tell my mom about it. And I'm like, Mom, I think I cut my face. And she looks down and, there's this gash that's opening with my mouth. And she's just like, couldn't look at me. She's freaking out. And so it became this amusing story that we all told in my family about this time that I didn't notice that I needed reconstructive plastic surgery.
It's definitely in hindsight. It's funny, right? At the time, it's everyone is screaming.
Yeah.
What do we do?
I'm sure at the time it was pretty traumatic.
Exactly.
Involved.
Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Yeah.
I love the fact that you are that person who is the caring, concerned, supportive individual, and that you are sacrificial in your giving. So it seems to me, even when you're gashed, all right, when half of your face is gashed out, you're still that guy that is keeping things calm. And it's fascinating to see that you're still being that way. Even with your child in the background right now, it's like, hey, it's cool. Hey, it's all about her. It's not about the podcast world. If you're hearing this, well, she's more important. I'm guessing it's a she. She or he is more important, right? So that is fascinating.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
I don't remember because that era is kind of fuzzy.
Yeah.
But I know there are a couple songs that were really important to me around that time. One of them was actually a hymn, How Great Thou Art. Because, that one had come up in a couple key events in my life at that time. And so it really resonated with me a lot around that time period.
Yeah. Well, it's fascinating how it connects, right? I mean, even though that song is a hymnal to God, right? It's fascinating that, Tim, how great thou art, right? Well, Tim, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go pretty quickly here. Tim, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
No.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes, 3.
Wow. Do you believe in God?
I do.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Small one.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
If I'm lucky.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Certainly more.
Tim, after having 1,001 conversations in 3 months, I had to get butt reconstruction surgery. I'm joking. I came up with a workbook, and the name of the workbook is called Yours. It stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. Connected to that is your own unique real statement. If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, your mission, what would that be?
I like to tell people that my name is that, because if you translate it in a certain order, it comes out as a descendant of hell, honoring God the King.
Wow. Love that. Well, Tim, this was a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Check out the podcast, but also check out some great comics in your area. I mean, webcomics generally are free, so it's worth the investment to just poke around and see what's there, what might interest you.
Love it. Tim McLaughlin Jr., thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.